What if I told you that in 2025 you could spend half as much every time you drive, just by choosing a different type of car? Sounds bold, but the numbers for 2025 and the expectations for 2026 might completely change how you view EVs versus gas cars. Let's start with fuel costs. In 2025, the average U.S. gasoline price sits around $3.10 per gallon, with forecasts showing a dip to about $2.90 in 2026. Electricity, meanwhile, is expected to average about 17 cents per kilowatt-hour in 2026, slightly higher than previous years. Yet even with that increase, EVs remain far cheaper to fuel. Real-world data shows that an EV charged at home costs roughly 4 to 6 cents per mile in 2025, while a comparable gas car typically ranges from 10 cents to 13 cents per mile. And that brings us smoothly to the next big difference. Maintenance is another area where EVs quietly win. With no oil changes, no spark plugs, and fewer moving parts, upkeep costs drop significantly. National data puts EV maintenance around $0.061 per mile compared to $0.101 per mile for gasoline vehicles. This means fewer shop visits, fewer surprise repairs, and more predictable long-term costs. Now let's see how this plays out for real drivers. Take a typical American driving 12,000 miles per year. At today's rates, an EV would cost around $600 per year in electricity, while a gas car lands near $1,320 in fuel. Even with slightly rising electricity prices and slightly cheaper gas expected in 2026, EVs still maintain a noticeable advantage, especially for people who charge mostly at home. But before we rush to the finish line, there's an important twist. EV savings depend heavily on how and where you charge. Home charging offers the lowest cost, while frequent fast charging can narrow the gap. And of course, upfront purchase price, insurance, and depreciation still play a role. Yet when we focus strictly on operation, fuel plus maintenance, EVs hold a strong lead both in 2025 and in the projected 2026 landscape. So, will an EV truly save you money? For many drivers, the answer is yes, especially if you put on regular miles and plug in at home. But like any smart decision, it ultimately depends on your habits.